Welcome to the kitchen. I'm Chef Victoria Love, and today we're gonna make a gingerbread biscotti. I'm so excited. I love biscotti, and this time I wanted to make it gingerbread flavored for the holiday season. So we are gonna use ginger, cinnamon, cloves, allspice, vanilla. I have this beautiful kosher sea salt. You don't need that. You can just regular table salt is fine. Molasses, cornmeal, all-purpose flour, light brown sugar. Again, it could be dark brown or light brown, and eggs. Now the reason the cornmeal is in this recipe is to help dry it out. Biscotti are twice baked, and they last a long time, so it's a great recipe to make at home.
Please click like and subscribe so we can bring you more recipes. Thank you.
I've had our butter sitting out at room temperature for a long time, so if you're able to squeeze it, then it's ready to go into the mixing bowl. If you forgot, you can always put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds, and that will soften it sufficiently. Once the butter has softened, we're gonna add in our 2.5 cups of light brown sugar. Again, you can use dark brown sugar. Either one is fine. Most people prefer dark brown sugar with their gingerbread. And again, you want to mix it on low speed. Once all the brown sugar has been incorporated, we want to scrape down the sides of the bowl and the paddle before we add our eggs. And we're using 2 eggs, but we're only going to add it one at a time. And again, scrape down the bowl and the paddle attachment each time before you add the next egg to make sure it's all incorporated. So now we're gonna add in our 1 egg, and I prefer to use like a measuring cup because then you have that little lip there and it helps it pour into the machine really easily. And again, we're gonna mix it on low speed. So you can see the egg is completely mixed in. Now we'll add our second egg. And now we're gonna add in our 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Again, I've scraped down the sides of the bowl and the paddle, and now we're gonna add in our molasses. And I'm not sure if you can see, but I sprayed this with nonstick cooking spray so that way it'll come out easily. So we're getting all of that molasses in and stir it again on low speed. While that's mixing, let's get our dry ingredients mixed together. So we have here 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. We're gonna add this to our all-purpose flour. 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. This smells wonderful. And 1/2 teaspoon of our kosher sea salt. And of course, our 1/4 cup of cornmeal, and that helps to keep this dried out. This cookie lasts for a very long time, so you could even make these ahead of time for the holiday season. You can make them in October and they're still going to be perfectly fine come December. So this is one of those great recipes to have because during the holidays everyone gets so incredibly busy. You want to have stuff done ahead of time. Now that I have all the molasses mixed in, we've got all of our dried ingredients that we mixed in with the spices. Get that all in there. Once you get all that flour in there, again, very slow and actually pulsing. I turn it on and off because otherwise sometimes the flour can go all over the place. So just, yep, it's already started going everywhere. So just pulse it a couple times and then you can turn it on consistently. There we go. Before everything's incorporated, you want to scrape down again the sides of the bowl and the paddle and then mix it on low speed. And then once it comes together, we'll stop mixing immediately. What you're looking for when it's ready is that it pulls back from the sides of the bowl. So if you can see that the dough is pulling back from the sides of the bowl, now we know we can stop mixing it. Now once it's mixed, scrape all of this off, and then we're gonna shape our logs. Once you finish mixing, just dump your dough out on a piece of parchment paper, or if you don't have parchment paper, just right on the counter is fine. And as you can see, the dough is still a bit crumbly, so we're just gonna sort of, not really knead it, but just pinch it back together. Once you have the dough together like this, we're just gonna eyeball where a 1/2 is. It's easier when it's like this to eyeball it. And slice it. Actually, to make it more manageable, I divide it into 3. So what we're gonna do now, though, is we're gonna take one of these and roll it into a log. So you're just gonna keep rolling it back and forth and sort of tapping the tops and the bottoms until you get a log that's 12 inches long. All right, so once you have it 12 inches long, we're then going to put it onto a baking tray with a silicone mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, a piece of parchment paper is perfectly fine. Put it on the tray diagonally, and then just with the palm of your hand, you want to flatten it out just a tiny little bit. Not too much. It doesn't spread much, but you do want to get it pressed down just a little bit like that. So once you get your biscotti out of the oven, now this is the tricky part. We're gonna start slicing it. Biscotti is twice baked, okay? So what we need to do is we're gonna cut it on the bias, and that means on the angle. And I prefer to use a serrated knife to do it because I find when I use a chef's knife, it tends to crack. So with the serrated knife, we're gonna saw back and forth on an angle or on the bias to get those nice long pieces. It's best to wait until it's cooled off a little bit, and it does take time, so be patient. And again, now the end pieces I usually just, munch on. You can make it, depending on the thickness that you desire, you can make it sometimes really thin or sometimes a bit thicker. I tend to like this thickness. It's about 1/3 of an inch. Don't rush, otherwise it tends to crack. And once it's cracked, it's kind of a wasted piece. So you're going to put this down on our silpat lined sheet pan. I'm going to continue to do this whole entire log. And this is the twice baked part. Once we have them all on there, we're going to put it back into our 300-degree oven for about 15 minutes to toast it. Halfway through, you're going to rotate the sheet pan and also flip the pieces over so that way they bake evenly on both sides. Here's our first batch out of the oven, and they toasted at 300 degrees for 15 minutes. And this log baked in the 300-degree oven for 40 minutes. So that's the first bake is 40 minutes. Second one is 15. Here's our finished gingerbread biscotti. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspires you to make it at home. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
For more recipe demonstrations, please click like and subscribe to Chef Victoria Loves YouTube channel and have fun in the kitchen. Thank you.